The twin suns of Cormer 4 scorched the dusty horizon, casting long shadows over a landscape littered with jagged rock formations and ancient alien ruins half buried beneath the shifting sands. Captain Elena Reyes crouched behind a cracked stone monolith, her breath steady despite the bitter wind that bit at her face. The relay station lay just a few clicks ahead, its silhouette a dark blot against the ochre sky. If the Zelnari took control of that relay, orbital bombardment would rain down on Earth's colonies across the sector. Elena's gloved fingers brushed sand from the compact pulse rifle slung across her back. She scanned the horizon, eyes narrowing against the glare. No movement. For now. Iris, status report, she whispered, her voice rough. The AI's calm voice replied through her earpiece. Relay station remains operational. Enemy fleet detected on outer sensor grid. Estimated arrival, 72 hours. Ground units deploying within 12. Elena exhaled slowly, feeling the weight of solitude settle over her. No backup coming? Negative. Command forces are engaged on multiple fronts. Your squad was the last insertion team on Cormer 4. The words landed cold and hard. Her squad. They were gone. Lost in the last engagement, and ambushed by Zelnari skirmishers in the ruined valley. She had been the only survivor. A memory flickered, smoke, frantic voices, the last desperate firefight. A sudden blast, then silence. Captain Reyes, you copy? Iris's tone pulled her back. I'm here, Elena answered. Set defensive perimeter protocols around the relay. Maximize sensor coverage. If the Zelnari want this planet, they'll have to come through me first. I'm running a tactical analysis now. Elena allowed herself a brief glance skyward. The twin suns were beginning to set, and night would bring freezing cold. But darkness also gave cover. A small advantage. She moved carefully forward, boots sinking into the sand, every sense alert. The ruins around her whispered stories of an ancient civilization long gone, but the danger was all too real and present. The relay station was more than a simple transmitter. It was a node in a vast network, a lifeline between Earth and its scattered colonies. Losing it meant more than a tactical defeat, it would be a strategic disaster. Elena crouched beside the station's external console, fingers flying across its interface as Iris processed data streams and external sensor feeds. Visual on hostile drone, bearing 270 degrees, altitude 100 meters, Iris announced. Show me. A flicker on Elena's heads-up display revealed the sleek form of a Zelnari scout drone gliding silently overhead. Its sensor arrays scanned relentlessly. Elena, this is a recon drone, Iris noted. It's likely mapping defenses for the assault force. Elena's jaw tightened. Then it's time to give them a bad first impression. She pulled a small electromagnetic pulse grenade from her belt, testing the trigger with a practiced flick. A precise toss sent it sailing through the air. It detonated near the drone, a crackling burst of static and interference. The drone's sensors went dark, and it spiraled down, crashing among the rocks. Nicely done, Iris said. But expect retaliation. Elena smirked despite the grim situation. They'll have to do better than that. Suddenly, a static-filled voice burst through her calm channel. The tone was mocking, cold, unmistakably alien. Human Captain Reyes, it said. Your resistance is futile. Your species is weak, cowardly. Surrender and save what little remains. Elena's pulse quickened. She responded without hesitation. Weak? We fight because we have to. Cowards don't stand alone on a world like this. There was a pause, then a low, almost amused chuckle. We shall see. One soldier is no match for the Zelnari Empire. I don't need an army to stop you, she shot back. One soldier is enough. The comm channel went silent. Elena felt the familiar surge of adrenaline, that stubborn human defiance burning brighter than any fear. She was alone on this desolate planet, but she carried more than just a weapon, she carried the will of humanity itself. Her mind flicked back to her fallen comrades, Lieutenant Hale's steady voice, Sergeant Kim's quick laugh, and Private Ortiz's unyielding courage. They had believed in her, in the mission. Their sacrifice was not in vain. Iris, she said quietly, run a full scan of the surrounding terrain. I want every possible route covered. If they want this relay, they'll have to walk through hell to get it. Understood, Captain? Initiating perimeter lockdown. Elena rose, moving toward the relay station's entrance. The interior hummed softly, shields shimmering faintly across its hull. She knew time was slipping away. The Zelnari ground forces would arrive soon, and she would have to be ready. Inside the station, she checked the power conduits and weaponized turrets linked to her control console. Each system responded obediently, a network of defenses she would command alone. A sudden flicker on her display caught her attention, a movement detected behind one of the ruined towers. Elena shifted into a defensive stance, pulse rifle raised. Show yourself, she demanded. A figure emerged, slow and cautious, a local Kormari native, gaunt and wary. He raised his hands in a peaceful gesture. You human soldier, he rasped, voice cracked from the dry air. We watch the skies. We know your fight. Elena lowered her weapon slightly, eyes searching his weathered face. Then help me, she said softly. The Zelnari will destroy everything if they take this relay. The man nodded grimly. We know the deserts. We can guide you. A fragile alliance was born amid the dust and ruins. Elena felt a flicker of hope, a reminder that humanity's strength was not just in technology or weapons, but in connection, trust forged even in the harshest places. Outside, the first stars appeared, cold and distant witnesses to the coming storm. Elena Reyes stood sentinel, alone but unbroken, ready to face whatever came next. Because on Cormer 4, humanity's fate would be decided by the courage of one. The cold metal of the Zelnari command ship vibrated softly beneath General Vraxtar's clawed feet as he stood before the holographic display of Cormer 4. Flickering points of light traced the jagged terrain of the planet below, a barren wasteland ripe for conquest. The hum of the fleet surrounded him, over 30 warships poised to crush the human resistance. Captain Reyes, the general mused aloud, lips curling in contempt. A single insect daring to resist the might of the Zelnari Empire. His second-in-command, a slender and calculating officer named Threxel, approached. The humans have deployed a special operations unit, sir. Our scouts report only one operative remains active near the relay station. Vraxtar's eyes narrowed. One soldier? Pathetic. We will annihilate her with ease. Shall we proceed with orbital bombardment to soften her position before ground assault? Threxel inquired. No, Vraxtar replied, voice cold and unwavering. Destroying the relay would serve them better. We want her to fight. We want to humiliate this human stubbornness. Then, when their morale shatters, the rest will fall swiftly. Threxel bowed his head, and the fleet's preparations advanced. Back on Cormer 4, Elena Reyes studied her makeshift map, overlaid with sensor readings Iris continuously updated. Her eyes caught every shadow, every telltale flicker of movement. She knew the Zelnari would come hard and fast. Iris status? She asked. Enemy forces detected 40 clicks northwest, advancing through the canyon ruins. They are moving cautiously but in strength. Estimated arrival time, 2 hours. Elena exhaled, fingers tightening around her rifle. Time to sharpen my knives. Suddenly, the static-laden voice of General Vraxtar pierced the calm channel. Captain Reyes, he intoned, dripping with disdain. You cling to your feudal defenses like a child grasping at shadows. Your species lacks the courage to face us openly. Elena's jaw clenched. She replied with quiet ferocity. We don't need to face you openly. We fight where we can, when we must. And we never back down. A harsh laugh echoed from the calm. Cowards! I expected more. I'm no coward, Elena snapped. You're just arrogant enough to mistake silence for weakness. Vraxtar's voice softened, almost amused. Then prepare to be broken. The line went dead. Elena felt a familiar fire ignite inside her. The words were not just taunts, they were challenges. Hours later, the first wave of Zelnari ground units crept through the canyon, the terrain twisting and crumbling beneath their heavy boots. Elena's heart beat steady. She was a ghost here, weaving between rocky outcrops and relics of a forgotten age. She activated a motion sensor, watching as armored soldiers advanced, their bio-enhanced rifles scanning relentlessly. "Ready the mines?" Elena murmured to Iris. Explosions ripped through the silence as hidden charges detonated, toppling the first squad into dust and chaos. "Good kill," Iris commented. "But they will adapt." "They always do," Elena muttered, moving deeper into the ruins. A distant pulse grenade tossed over a ledge caught a charging squad off guard, sending bodies sprawling. Her tactics were simple: strike fast, vanish into the shadows, deny ground, and buy time. Between skirmishes, Elena checked her status and meditated on the cruel irony. The aliens called humans cowards, yet here she was, fighting alone against overwhelming force. Vrakstar watched from orbit, monitoring the battle feeds. The humans' hit-and-run tactics frustrated his soldiers, but the planet was vast and the alien fleet held overwhelming superiority. "Captain Reyes underestimates our resolve," he said darkly. "Send the Draknar units, elite shock troops trained to eliminate resistance." Threxel nodded and issued the order. Back on the ground, Elena felt the shift immediately. The Draknar were different, quicker, smarter, merciless. "Iris, new enemy type detected. Highly trained, advanced armor and tactics," she whispered. "Recommended action, increased caution and evasion." Elena grinned grimly. "I don't do caution well." She lured a patrol into a narrow canyon, collapsing a rock formation with expertly timed charges. The Draknar were caught beneath the rubble, their screams swallowed by the shifting stone. But victory was short-lived. A sniper's pulse sliced through the air, grazing Elena's shoulder. She cursed softly and dived for cover, feeling the sting of burning flesh. "Status?" Iris asked, voice urgent. "Minor wound. Nothing that won't heal," Elena said, pushing forward. "No time to bleed out." She adjusted her scope and fired back, taking down the sniper's position. The battle was relentless, each side pushing harder. That night, Elena retreated to a hidden cave near the relay station's power core. Her body ached, but her mind remained sharp. "Iris, status report," she said, settling down. "Enemy forces are regrouping, estimated to renew assault in 6 hours. Elena clenched her jaw. "They want me to break. They'll fail." Suddenly, her calm crackled again. Vrakstar's voice returned, low and deliberate. "You persist like a stubborn weed. What drives you, human? Honor? Fear? Desperation?" Elena's reply was calm but fierce. "Something you'll never understand. We fight for each other. For those who can't." A long pause. "Perhaps one day you will see the futility of your defiance," he said. "Maybe," Elena said softly. "But until then, I'll stand in your way." The channel went silent. In the dim light of the cave, Elena closed her eyes for a moment, recalling the faces of her lost squad. Lieutenant Hale's unwavering loyalty, Sergeant Kim's sharp wit, Private Ortiz's quiet courage. They were the reason she still stood. "Iris," she said, opening her eyes, "run diagnostics on all systems. I want every inch of this relay fortified." "Already in progress, Captain." She pulled her jacket tighter against the night chill and stared out toward the horizon. The Zelnari army would come again. They would bring fire and fury. But so would she. One soldier was all it took. That night on Cormer 4, as the stars blinked cold and distant, 2 forces waited. One was a vast empire confident in its might. The other was a lone human, unwavering against impossible odds. And the war had only just begun. The horizon was ablaze with the glow of 1,000 burning engines as the Zelnari ground forces surged toward the relay station. Elena Reyes tightened the straps on her armor, the dull ache in her shoulder a constant reminder of the sniper's shot but far from debilitating. She was alone now, the last human presence between the invaders and Earth's lifeline. "Relay power levels holding steady," Iris reported softly. Defensive turrets at 70% functionality. Structural integrity at 85. Not enough, Elena muttered. But we'll take it. She scanned the approaching forces through her visor's augmented reality overlay. Armored columns moved like shadows creeping across the dusty terrain. Drones hovered, casting eerie beams that sliced through the twilight. Her fingers brushed the pulse rifle's grip. Every shot counted. From her position nestled within the ancient ruins, Elena took a breath, steadying herself. Time to show them why humans don't quit. The first wave hit like a tidal surge. Elena's traps, hidden mines and electromagnetic disruptors, detonated with brutal precision, toppling armored vehicles and scrambling enemy systems. She moved like a shadow, striking swiftly then vanishing into the rocky maze. Drones down, armored infantry neutralized. Iris relayed. Tactical advantage diminishing, Captain. Enemy reinforcements incoming. Elena grinned grimly. Good. Let's keep them coming. Suddenly, the comm line buzzed to life, Vrakstar's voice cold and measured. Captain Reyes. Your defiance is impressive, yet futile. Surrender, and your suffering will end. Elena's response was sharp, unwavering. One soldier is enough. A silence fell, then the alien's low, almost grudging respect. We shall see. Elena's world narrowed to the relay station and the onslaught before her. She slipped through tunnels carved into the ruins, using every hiding place, every shadow. Her rifle barked bursts of precise fire, taking down targets that dared expose themselves. Flashbacks haunted her, faces of fallen comrades, the screams, the promise she'd made, to hold the line. A sudden explosion rocked the station's perimeter. She staggered but forced herself upright. Damage sustained to power conduits, Iris warned. Defensive turrets offline. Elena's mind raced. Without turrets, she'd be a sitting target. Iris, reroute power to emergency shield generators. Full capacity. Done, the AI confirmed. A shimmering energy shield flickered to life, buying precious seconds. Outside, the enemy regrouped quickly. From the shadows emerged the Draknar elite troops, fast, brutal, and relentless. Elena gritted her teeth. Time for close quarters. The Draknar advanced with chilling precision, but Elena fought with every ounce of her training and instinct. The ruins became a maze of gunfire, dust, and desperate maneuvering. Reloading. She hissed under her breath as her rifle clicked empty. A blade flashed. A Draknar warrior lunged. Elena sidestepped, driving her combat knife into the alien's side. The creature snarled, collapsing. One less, she muttered. She darted deeper into the station, sealing bulkheads behind her to slow pursuit. Her comm crackled again. Captain. Iris's voice was urgent. Sensors detect breach in eastern sector. Elena didn't hesitate. She sprinted through narrow corridors, firing on invaders who breached the station's outer defenses. At the heart of the station, she reached the main control console, sweat dripping from her brow. The station shuddered under enemy fire. Elena, this is Vrakstar. The general's voice echoed through the station's calm. Do you finally see reason? Humanity is weak. One soldier cannot hold the planet. She looked up, voice steady, eyes blazing. One soldier is enough. The words were a spark. Elena channeled every memory, every promise into a fierce determination. A brutal firefight erupted around her. She moved like a whirlwind, her pulse rifle spitting deadly precision. Amid the chaos, Elena hacked into the station's defense systems, triggering automated turrets with renewed fury. Drones swooped down, laser beams slicing through the dim light, but she fought on. A sudden shockwave rocked the station. Explosions breached walls, dust and debris filling the air. Elena felt herself falter but force forward, dragging herself through the smoke and ruin. Her comm crackled again. Captain Reyes? Vrakstar's voice held an edge of respect, grudging but real. Your courage is noted. Elena wiped blood from her cheek, voice steady despite exhaustion. This is just the beginning. Hours passed like a blur. The battle raged through the night, the ancient ruins illuminated by muzzle flashes and burning fires. Dawn approached, and with it, a tenuous silence. Elena slumped against a shattered wall, breathing ragged but victorious. The relay station still stood. Her suit's systems reported stabilizing conditions. The enemy had fallen back, wounded, but not broken. She allowed herself a moment to remember those who'd fought beside her, their sacrifices fueling this stand. Iris, she said softly, prepare the station to send a transmission. This fight isn't over. Ready when you are, Captain. Elena rose, every movement heavy but determined. She looked out over the ruins and the scorched earth beyond. One soldier is enough. She whispered again, the promise ringing louder than any weapon. Because here, on the edge of human space, against impossible odds, that one soldier was humanity's shield and spear. And she would not fall. The pale light of dawn crept over the jagged peaks of Cormer 4, cutting through the haze of smoke and dust that hung heavy after the night's battle. Captain Elena Reyes stood by the control console inside the battered relay station, her fingers steady despite the exhaustion that gnawed at her muscles. The station was scarred, panels scorched, wiring frayed, but still alive, humming quietly as it prepared to send its message. Iris, Elena said, voice low but resolute. Initiate transmission sequence. Send the status report to command. Transmission queued, the AI replied. Signal strength optimized for maximum range. Estimated time to relay, 90 seconds. Elena's gaze flicked to the viewport, where the barren expanse stretched out, silent now but for the distant echoes of retreating Zelnari forces. For a moment, she allowed herself to feel the weight of victory. It was a small triumph in a vast war, but it mattered. Her calm crackled, and the harsh voice of General Vrakstar filled the room. Captain Reyes, he said, his tone unusually measured. You have held the relay longer than I anticipated. Your actions delay my plans but do not change the inevitable. The Zelnari Empire will claim this sector. Elena straightened, meeting the alien's voice with calm defiance. You may control fleets and weapons, but you underestimate the heart of humanity. There was a pause, then a slow, almost grudging respect in Vrakstar's voice. You embody the stubbornness of your species. Remember this fight well, human. It is not over. The line went dead. Elena exhaled deeply, then turned back to the console. Transmission commencing, Iris announced. The relay station sent its pulse, a powerful, encrypted signal carrying not just data, but a declaration: humanity would not yield. The message broadcasted the reality of the battle, the resilience of its lone defender, and a call to arms for every human outpost within reach. Outside, the first light of day illuminated the ruined battlefield. Elena stepped out, scanning the horizon where the Zelnari fleet hovered like a dark cloud, their ships a grim reminder of the war ahead. Her calm crackled with new voices, distant but alive. Reinforcements, alerted by her transmission, were mobilizing. A sharp voice came through. Captain Reyes, this is Commander Han of the United Earth Defense Forces. Relay secured. Your message received loud and clear. Relief forces are en route. Relief. A word Elena hadn't dared to hope for these past endless hours. Thank you, Commander, Elena replied, a rare softness threading through her tone. Hold the line. The fight's far from over. She lowered her visor, letting the cold desert wind wash over her face. The cost was high. Her squad was gone, the station wounded, and Earth's frontier vulnerable. But today, one soldier had changed the course of a battle. One soldier had stood when others fell. Her mind returned to the faces of those lost: Lieutenant Hale's steady leadership, Sergeant Kim's fierce humor, Private Ortiz's quiet bravery. They lived on in her stand. A faint chime drew her attention. Iris's voice was calm, almost gentle. Captain, systems diagnostics show relay station operating at 70%. Repairs needed but manageable. Elena nodded, steeling herself. Begin repairs immediately. We prepare for the next assault. As she looked to the horizon, the stars still faint in the brightening sky, Elena felt the stirrings of hope. Humanity's fight was far from over, but their spirit was unbreakable. She whispered to the wind, a vow and a promise. "One soldier is enough. And we are not done yet." The distant rumble of approaching ships grew louder. Reinforcements descended onto the scarred planet, soldiers and engineers ready to fortify the position and push back the invaders. Elena stood among them, a solitary figure who had become a symbol, proof that even against overwhelming odds, humanity endured. Commander Han approached, extending a hand. "Captain Reyes, welcome back." Elena shook it firmly. "We hold Cormer 4. That relay stays human." The commander's eyes were sharp but respectful. "Your fight inspired more than just this outpost. It's a message to the entire sector." Elena smiled faintly. "One soldier is enough." As the sun rose fully, casting light over the rugged landscape, the battered relay station pulsed with renewed energy, a beacon in the darkness. And the war continued. But now, humanity was ready.